everybody, this is Zero Organizer here for my second deck profile for the March 2012 format. This is just a recently made deck actually. I only just made it. I took it to my local tourney last week, and I topped with it, beating Malefics, Hieratics, Gravekeepers, 6 Sams. It was really surprised because I didn't think this deck would go so well. But anyway, here it is. It's called I call it TG Stun, and it basically is using the TG monsters with a few tech choices, and yeah, it just abuses the pluses that you get off it. Basically, every TG monster that goes to the graveyard by destruction gets a search off it, so basically you're plussing all the time, you know. So without further ado, here's the monsters. 1 TG Striker. This card's, well, not really essential to the deck, I would say, but it's great to go for rank 5s really easily. And this guy's basically Cyber Dragon as a tuner, you know. And when he's destroyed, you get another TG monster with a different name from your deck at the end of the turn. And it's just really great to set up first play, you know, first turn catasters and whatever. Triple Warwolf, TG Warwolf. This guy has relatively low attack, but his effect is really great with Striker, because when a level 4 or lower monster is special summoned, you can special summon him from your hand, which acts in a chain as well, so you can chain multiple copies. So if you have multiple copies of Warwolf in your hand and you have a Striker in your hand, you can special summon Striker, special summon a Warwolf, and you can leave it there and wait for your opponent to attack off them, and you'll get pluses searching for Rush Rhinos and things like that. Or you can synchro straight up for a Cataster or a Wonder Magician or something like that. So it's a really great card, and like all the TG monsters that run in this deck, if it's destroyed, you get to search for another one at the end of the turn, with a different name. So they're really quite essential. And they're really good as well. Excellent effects. 3 TG Rush Rhinos. This card's really good as well, only because it's searchable off Striker and Warwolf, and it goes to 2000 when it attacks. It's 1600 base attack, but it goes to 2000 when it attacks. So it's good for getting over big things as well, and for baiting traps as well. Like your opponent, if they know what the card does, it'll bait out Bottomless and things like that. You know, it's not preferential to get them banished, but it's a good card just for beating over big things that you can't normally get rid of. And so that's basically the TG part of the deck. It works really, really well. Basically, mid to late game, I'll have 5-6 cards in my hands while my opponent has 0 or 2 cards in their hand. And it's very, very hard to come back off that. Another card that's great for plussing is Photon Saber Tiger. This card is excellent because you can search with it for Pot of Duality. It's got 2000 base attack, but without another one on the field, it goes to 1-2. However, under Skill Drain, it keeps its 2k beat stick properties. And when it's summoned, not under Skill Drain, it searches out another one from your deck. So it's basically deck thinning. You can get a potential 2k beat stick off of it, and it's just really, really good. Usually you wait before you've activated a couple, so you get all 3 of them in your hand or something. And once you do that, you can just basically attack and attack and attack. This game is all about beating down your opponent. So that's Photon Saber Tiger. Excellent card as well. Usually first turn off that. Then Triple Beast King Barbaros. I was thinking about taking it down to 2, but it is a 1900 beat stick as well that goes to 3000 under Skill Drain. So that's also a really, really good card to go for. If I have a Beast King Barbaros on the field and a couple of face down cards, they don't want to attack into it because I think they're not sure if there's a Skill Drain face down, you know. So it's a really great card, and it's very hard for people to recover once they've attacked into a 3k Beast King Barbaros. Thunder King YuGiOh. Now this is an interesting choice. It's in this deck mainly because of its prevention of special summoning. As you've noticed, all my cards basically search themselves or other cards, so it can be detrimental. You've got to know when to play Thunder King. You can't have them on the field and a couple of TGs there, because once they're destroyed, you won't get your searches. But if you have Skill Drain up, it still has this negation of special summon effect, but it doesn't have its search negation. So it's good under Skill Drain, and even without, opponents really like to get rid of this guy. They have to get rid of him to make their big plays, so that's why he's in there. I wouldn't run 3 though, because that could start interfering. And the final monster is Ape Fighter. I'm thinking about putting 2 in, taking one Barbaros out and putting another one in, because he's actually really fantastic. Haven't tested him yet, but he's 1900 beat stick, a beast card, and if he attacks and destroys a monster by battle, he gains 300 attack points. And this is cumulative as well. So if I attack each turn, he gains 300, 300, 300, 300. And even under Skill Drain, he's a 1900 beat stick. So he's really good, and he can really easily get up his attack. If you don't attack with him though, he loses the attack bonus, but that's really nothing to worry about, because you got Horn of the Phantom Beast, and now that boosts his attack anyway. So that's all for the monsters. Next we have our spell and traps. We have the staples, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Pot of Avarice. Because you're dumping a lot of monsters in the graveyard, you want to return all those TG monsters back to your deck, so you can use their effects again, and you get to draw 2 cards of it. Pot of Avarice is essential in this deck. Also, we have double MST. Don't like to run triple, only because I don't really... Like, this deck, it's got a very heavy back row, but I prefer them destroying my back row to running protection cards like Dark Bribe, because your opponent can plus off that. And because this deck is plussing of itself anyway, I don't think running Dark Bribe or anything. So Mystical Space Typhoon is really my only spell and trap destruction card. Then we have 3 Pot of Dualities, because Pot of Duality searches into your TGs and you still get the search off them at the end of the turn. So yeah, they're pretty much essential. And this deck is super consistent, as you probably found out as well. Like, as long as I start off with 1 TG monster in my hand, I can usually control the game from there. Alright, after the traps, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device. This card's just good for getting rid of pesky Xyz and stuff like that. A tech choice, might add 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Triple Skill Drain. This card is really useful in this deck as well, because even though it negates your TG... your Ape Fighters and your TG Rush Runners effect, it boosts up Beast King and it boosts up Photon Saber Tiger as well. So your opponent attacks into a Photon Saber Tiger thinking it's only going to be a 1200, little monster, and you flip Skill Drain on their ass and it goes to 2k. And then if you really want to hurt them, you flip Horn of the Phantom Beast and it goes to 2800. So it's fantastic, Skill Drain, and shuts down so many effects. I've found that this deck has a lot of trouble against Dark World though. So if I was versing Dark World, I'd probably take out Skill Drain for something else. Next we have TGEM1. This card is great because if I have a face-up Werewolf on the field, my opponent makes their big plays out something like a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon or something like that, I'll just flip over TGEM1. It swaps my Werewolf for their Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It's basically creature swap, but I get to choose which monster to take, which is very, very powerful. And it's a trap as well, so it's chainable. So if my opponent activates Torrential or something like that on my Werewolf or my Rush Rhino, I just flip over TGEM1. Well, not Torrential, but something else. And yeah, take control of their monster. And this has basically won me a lot of games as well, because I've taken people's Stardust, I've taken people's all sorts of things, So yeah, I was thinking about actually maining 3 of them, but I don't run enough TG monsters to warrant that, and it could become dead. 2 Torrentials as well, because Torrentialing your own TG monster is kind of... Well, it's not a minus for you anyway, because you get to search off it anyway. So Torrential's good, field clearing, and with Skill Drain on the field, your opponent won't be able to stop those destruction effects. 2 Solemn Warnings. I don't run Solemn Judgment, only because with Skill Drain and with Solemn Warning, I'm losing a lot of life points as well. And early game, when my opponent attacks over my big monsters with his beast sticks before I've had a chance to get rid of them, I really don't want to lose too much life points. So Solemn Warning is good, and I don't really want to run Solemn Judgment. And I don't run any other protection either, as I've said. I don't run Starlight Road or anything like that. I run Triple Horn of the Phantom Beast though. This card is the best in this deck. This deck needs this card, because this is basically, in the damage step, you activate it, your Beast or Beast Warrior monsters, and they're all Beast Warrior except for Thunder King, they get 800 attack, right? But that's not the best part about it. They get 800 attack, and if they destroy a monster, I think it's sent to the graveyard. Hang on a sec. Sent to the graveyard. When that monster gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle, I draw 1 card, which is phenomenal. I cannot stress how much this card is the main... the MVP of this deck, because think about it, I have a face-up Barbaros, right? Even if I don't have Skill Drain, they attack into my Barbaros. I flip over this card, and my Barbaros goes to 2-7, alright? Or my little, my little 3-star Photon Saber Tiger, under Skill Drain at 2k, goes to 2-8 under this card. I just cannot understate how good this card is. It's just fantastic. 2 Bottomless as well. Because Priority's Gone is just perfect, and it's really good in removal as well. And finally, Mirror Force. I'd run this over D Prison only because I have a problem dealing with swarms. Like, the Chaos Dragons consistently put out a swarm of 3-4 big monsters, and Mirror Force is just the best way to get rid of them. So there's a reason why I put that in. So the deck runs really well at 42, only because I'm searching and thinning a lot, and there's some cards that needs to be in there. Now onto the extra deck. Now this is not finished. Basically it runs all the level 8 staples like Stardust Dragon, Scrap Dragon. No level 7 staples though, unfortunately, because I've only got a level 2 tuners there. And how often am I going to go into... Oh, I don't have any level 5s or anything like that. So I don't run all the classic level 7 tuners. But level 6s, you could run like Gaia Knight, you can run Brynag as well. And also level 5s. Level 5s are a big part of this deck. So I'll just show you what I got so far. It's still in construction. Acid Golem of Destruction is really good, especially with skill drain, because you don't have to detach or you don't have to lose 2,000 life points. And as you notice, like, got Photon Saber Tiger as a rank level 3, and so is Warwolf. So it's relatively easy to go into. Gem Knight Pearl, pulled the secret from the Hidden Arsenal 6, I'm quite happy about that. This guy's good because I have a lot of fours as well. So rank 4 XE, 2/6 base stick, and it's not affected by skill drain. So it's really good. And your opponent can't Fiendish Chain this guy either, which is excellent. Utopia, this guy is actually quite good. As you all know, it's pretty much a staple in most decks, so I don't really have to explain him. Utopia Ray, this guy I just have there for that just in case. You know, there's always a just in case moment, and so Utopia Ray is there in case I need to, you know, beat over something bigger and I'm really in dire straits. I don't think I've ever gone into this card, but it's handy to have, you know. TG Power Gladiator. This guy is easy to make with a Warwolf and a Striker, which often happens, and he's good because it's 2,300, and when he's destroyed, you draw 1 card. So there's really nothing bad about this card at all. You minus by making it, but you plus off it at the end when it's destroyed. So, and it's 2,300 attack, so it's pretty damn good. TG Wonder Magician. This is also really good, rank 5, level 5, sorry, made easily with Striker and Warwolf. And when summoned, destroy 1 spell trap card on the field. So that effect is very hard to ignore as well. Destroys Future Fusion, other things like that. And when it's destroyed, you also draw 1 card off it as well. So, I mean, just fantastic. Imagine Hyper Librarian as well. I haven't picked that one up yet, but that card is also good. 2,400, level 5 as well. And finally, Mistworm, because I'm in quite a few... Mistworm is interesting because I often do get into situations where I can make easy rank 9s, level 9s, and say I would have special summoned like my Striker, my Wolf, and then normal summoned, say, Ape Fighter or TG Rush Rhino. So if I really needed to go into him, I definitely could. It's definitely not a big trouble. But Trishula would be better. He's just in there as a just-in-case moment as well. Like, if my opponent has a couple of pesky Exceeds or whatever on the field, I just like to get rid of them. So that's why Mistworm is in there. So that's basically the deck. As I said, it won the local tournament against a pretty tough competition, I have to say. And I tell you what, the look on people's face when you flip over a skill drain from attacking a 1/9 Barbaros is just priceless. So for that alone, I mean, this deck is worth it, but it's definitely really good. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. And yeah, have fun dueling.